It's a little early. We don't want to get too carried away. But who had a better weekend this weekend than Malachi Bergeron? I don't know if he was on the Chesapeake Bay or where he was in Baltimore eating crabs, but I do know that the one player that he touted all through the draft.
The NFL thought he'd ride the bench. Analysts called him raw. Teams passed without a second thought. But in just one game, Shedeur Sanders flipped the script and made the league look stupid. He didn't just survive his preseason debut, he dominated it. This wasn't a feel-good rookie story. This was a calculated wake-up call to every single scout who wrote him off before he even unpacked his gym bag. And now, the whole league is watching, and some teams are already regretting ever doubting him. Before he ever took a snap in the NFL, Shedeur Sanders had already been boxed in. Not strong enough, not fast enough, not pro-ready. He was labeled the brand, not the baller, the son of Dion, the kid benefiting from attention, not earning it. While other quarterbacks from bigger programs got headline love and early draft hype, Shedeur was treated like a long shot, a system player, a product of primetime spotlight. Not his own game.
Drew Berry, the GM of the Browns, I am saying to Shedeur and Dylan Gabriel, here's the answers to the test. We have 2 first-round picks next year. Every day is a job interview. Convince us that we don't need a quarterback. And now with 2 ones with next year's draft with all those quarterbacks, we could get a generational haul, earn this job.
Scouts nitpicked details that had nothing to do with performance. Needs refinement. Can't adjust to NFL speed. Some even questioned if he had the poise under pressure. Never mind his record-shattering college stats. The narrative was set. Shedeur might get a shot, but definitely not a spotlight. And that's exactly why his preseason performance stung so badly. Because this wasn't supposed to happen. The NFL had quietly moved on. Chalked him up as a depth piece. Clipboard carrier, developmental maybe. But one game into his pro career, he didn't look like a backup. He looked like the guy 31 teams might have just missed. It only took one drive to flip the entire narrative.
That game, there were a couple moments, like 2 or 3 plays where you sit there and go, Shedeur, don't do it, because he's backpedaling and drifting. He's got to learn through that. But every report we've heard out of camp has been, man, he's been really impressive at practice.
The Browns lined up against the Panthers in a preseason game that should have been forgettable. The kind of slow, vanilla football that makes fans glance at their phones more than the field. But the second Shedeur Sanders stepped into the huddle, everything changed. He didn't ease into the moment. He took it, owned it, commanded it like a veteran who'd been here for seasons, not seconds. The opening drive was crisp, smooth, and eerily efficient. Play action, timed to perfection. Blitz, read and reacted like it was in the scouting report. Pocket collapsing, slide over, reset, deliver a dart. The Panthers defense came in expecting to rattle a rookie. They left getting torched by one. Every throw landed right where it needed to. Every decision looked calm, composed, surgical. And by the time the possession ended, the Browns weren't just ahead on the scoreboard.
But overall, this was tremendous. You know, that's probably a little overstatement, but it was very good for him. I would give him a B+. I could see if someone wanted to give him an A- when you consider the circumstances. Like every 5th round pick is under some pressure in the preseason because you might not even make the team. But for him, like if he went out there and played poorly, couldn't get the offense under control, was bad at the line of scrimmage, made some bad throws, who knows what his future would have been.
They were ahead on the future because in just a few minutes, Sanders went from promising prospect to, hold on, did we just find our guy? Everyone watching knew it. One drive. That's all it took. Most rookie QBs flash. A quick rollout here, a deep ball there, maybe even a lucky touchdown. But what Shedeur Sanders did wasn't a flash. It was a masterclass in control, awareness, and precision. Nothing about his debut felt accidental. Every decision was calculated. Every movement had purpose. He didn't run the offense like a rookie hoping to survive. He commanded it like someone who already knew how the story was going to end.
I like Rex. I don't think Ron has the right personality.
You could see it in the pre-snap reads, subtle head checks, shifting protection, calling out the blitz before the defense even moved. He was diagnosing coverages like a surgeon, not reacting like a rookie. His throws? Tight windows, sideline darts, perfect touch on timing routes. The kind of precision that lets an offense breathe, move, and expand. No panic, no jittery feet, just deliberate execution. And 1 point. He looked off a safety so convincingly, the guy might still be running in the wrong direction. Then, a split second later, boom, first down. That's not flash. That's pure quarterbacking. And the craziest part? He made it look easy. This wasn't beginner's luck. It was film session brought to life, in real time, at NFL speed. While Shedeur Sanders was busy launching his NFL arrival, the Panthers' defense was quietly falling apart, one snap at a time.
Diana, most interesting thing in preseason week number 1 was what?
How different the league feels about Shedeur Sanders' performance compared to the rest of us.
Funny.
Chase, my colleague on Scoop City, quarterback, 14 years, studies film like a lunatic. He's like an Orlovsky. Loves it. Like, just consumes this stuff.
What started as confident swagger from Carolina's front seven quickly turned into confusion, blown coverages, and bad body language. They looked like they came ready to feast on a raw rookie. Instead, they got cooked. By halftime, the sideline energy was gone. Eyes down, hands on hips. No trash talk, no rallying. Just that silent, shared look that says, we're in trouble. Multiple plays turned their defense into human traffic cones. They weren't getting beat by luck. They were getting outplayed by a kid making NFL speed look like high school level. The worst part? It didn't even look like Shedeur was trying to embarrass them. His game was cold, calm, and unbothered. And that cut deeper. By the third quarter, Panthers fans were already checking out, eyes glued to their phones, pretending it's just preseason. But the truth was harder to stomach. Their defense got torched, and they had no answers.
This is the thing I loved about Rex Ryan. This is a personal story. Like, Rex Ryan would not want to hear what you couldn't do. He wants to know what you can do, and he's going to send.
Shedeur didn't just score. He sapped their will to fight, and he did it with a smile and a spiral. There's a difference between playing not to fail and playing like you know you belong. Shedeur Sanders never looked nervous, never looked rushed, never looked like a rookie hoping for approval. From his very first snap, he showed a level of confidence that can't be coached, and that's exactly what set him apart. You can teach mechanics, you can drill footwork, you can rep coverages until the sun comes up, but that internal calm, that unshakable poise when chaos is closing in from both sides, that's rare, and Shedeur has it. One play stood out above the rest. The pocket starts to fold, bodies closing in from the edge, and instead of bailing or rushing the throw, he just calmly slides up, resets his feet, and fires a missile between two defenders. First down. Crowd leans forward. Replay hits differently when you realize it wasn't luck. It was tempo, timing, and trust.
One other thing, we talked about this last week, no self-inflicted wounds. There weren't pre-snap penalties, no delays, and that to me, again, shows that it's not too big for him.
I am right. So
Defensive backs were biting on his eyes. Linebackers couldn't read his rhythm. The offensive line responded like they knew he had it under control. You can't fake presence like that. And in the NFL, presence makes all the difference. The NFL has a habit, a bad one. It falls in love with prototypes and misses the guys with presence. It memorizes measurements, overthinks combine drills, and somehow ignores what actually wins games. Feel, leadership, and execution under fire. Shedeur Sanders is just the latest name added to a long list of quarterbacks the league didn't get until it was too late. They said he was a system QB, that he benefited from Colorado's hype machine, that he racked up empty stats in a flash and flare scheme. What they didn't mention? He was reading defenses and checking protections like a second-year vet. But that doesn't show up on a spreadsheet. So he slid down boards while less prepared quarterbacks got elevated off a 38-inch vertical or a viral deep ball throw in shorts. And now that he's here, dominating early, the same analysts who barely mentioned his name in July are sprinting to change their tone in August. Suddenly, they've always liked his upside. Suddenly, he's the steal of the draft. Funny how that works. But let's be clear. They didn't scout him incorrectly. They just didn't respect the right things. Sure, it's easy to lose your mind after one impressive preseason game. But this felt different. Shedeur Sanders didn't just flash one or two highlight plays. He operated like a seasoned starter. From processing the defense pre-snap to hitting tight throws on the move, there was a rhythm to everything he did. No fluke vibes, no lucky bounce moments, just confident control of the offense like he'd been doing it for years. Even more telling, the team responded to him. The O-line blocked longer, receivers executed sharper routes, the huddle looked locked in. That kind of chemistry doesn't usually show up until mid-season, especially with a rookie QB. But when your quarterback carries veteran poise, everyone else levels up to meet that energy. Still, it's only week 1 of preseason, and yes, that matters. Defenses are basic, playbooks are watered down, but the process, the way he got it done, that's real, and that's the part coaches care about. If this is the floor for Shedeur Sanders, the ceiling might be a problem for the rest of the league. Let's not sugarcoat it. The NFL got caught slipping. While teams were busy calculating arm angles and obsessing over 40 times, Shedeur Sanders was quietly sharpening the only thing that really matters. His game, mental reps, pocket presence, timing, control under chaos. And now that the lights are on, he's not looking around for approval. He's taking over like the field was built for him. The media will shift fast. They always do. In a few weeks, you'll hear the same analysts who doubted him claiming they called it all along. Revisionist history. You know the scene. But fans, real ones, they remember. They remember who ignored him, who dismissed him, who put him behind quarterbacks who couldn't even hit open receivers in the flat this preseason. In one Friday night, Shedeur Sanders transformed from a maybe into a problem. And if this was just the warm-up, then the regular season might not be ready for what's coming. Browns fans, keep your receipts. Everyone else, you've been warned. And here's the craziest part. This wasn't even the regular season. If Shedeur Sanders can command a preseason game like that with a limited playbook and second-string reps, what happens when the training wheels come off? This wasn't just a promising debut. It was a warning shot the league can't ignore. So now the question is, did the Browns just accidentally stumble into their next franchise quarterback? Or was this game just Shedeur introducing himself to the world? Either way, we'll be watching closely. If you're fired up to see what this rookie does next, hit that like button and subscribe, because we're tracking everything the media gets wrong before they flip the narrative. And trust me, this is just the beginning.